So earlier today was the official worldwide reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer, though there has been a bunch of leaked gameplay that actually went around a little bit earlier. This was basically the official worldwide reveal. We got to see the actual multiplayer trailer, and we also got to see a bunch of different content creators and pro players, and basically people from around the community and different communities actually go play together on the alpha, basically for at least a couple of hours, and showcase what some actual raw gameplay actually does look like. How does the game actually play? And I'm here to kind of go over at least my opinions and go over some of the more key things that's actually going on, like your score streaks, you know, the movement, the weapons, the attachments, all that sort of stuff, all the good stuff that Call of Duty players want to be able to know. You know, is it going to be good or does it basically suck? But before we get into anything else here, though, I do want to say a massive shout out to my buddy Dismo for actually sending me this gameplay. You guys can go check him out in the description below. He's been my friend for a very, very long time, and he actually had access to be able to play and record this here earlier today. So thank you so much to him for actually doing that. Once again, go check him out. I'll link him in the description below. Thank you so much. So now that you guys are seeing some of his Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer gameplay in the background, let's actually go over a couple of key things here. I've actually all written this down here in a notepad, and I actually want to just kind of go over, you know, a few things that I think are very, very important when actually deciding whether a game is going to be fun or not, and really more or less should you pick it up. And I also like to point out that there's actually a lot of different feedback around the internet, at least with the pre-alpha type of gameplay that was recorded on that map Miami, which you guys may or may not have seen, that actually tuned into my channel, or maybe you found it around the internet. And there's a lot of negative feedback saying the game didn't really look like Call of Duty, and I would like to say that I think a large majority of those type of people that are actually saying the game doesn't look like Call of Duty just probably haven't been playing Call of Duty for a good amount of time. I myself have been playing all the way back since Modern Warfare 2, and I do want to point out that just because, you know, Warzone has been free, there's been a massive surplus of people that have never touched the Call of Duty franchise before that have actually, you know, just experienced Call of Duty for the first time, or maybe the first time in a very, very long time. So their experience with Call of Duty is basically almost solely reliant on Modern Warfare, and that's what they more or less feel like an actual Call of Duty title is, not having experience maybe years in the past, like, you know, a Treyarch and Sledgehammer and, you know, Infinity Ward, or even back in the days when it was just Treyarch and Infinity Ward actually cycling year on year off with their Call of Duty titles. They haven't experienced that, so their opinions are a little bit skewed. But here today, we're gonna be going over everything so you guys can, you know, feel a little bit more informed when you buy this game. So here is the first thing that I think is on a lot of people's minds when you can actually see the gameplay, and actually even if people were getting streaks within the game, which actually did happen a pretty decent bit considering the lobbies were, you know, pretty sweaty. It was just a bunch of content creators and pro players, is that the score streaks are actually not kill streaks. And I know they're in Modern Warfare, you can put on point man, you can put on hardline. There's different ways to kind of more or less make it go from, you know, a kill streak to a point streak and so on and so forth, but I don't really see too many people running point man. Anyways, it is basically a score streak, and this is actually a very unique take on a score streak, and I do want to point this out because this actually took me a little bit of time actually from, you know, understanding this and talking to a couple of my friends in Discord to be able to really figure out how does this actually work. So naturally, it is a score streak. It is going to be based on score, stuff you do in game, like getting kills and actually playing a little bit of OBJ. It's not entirely based on your kills, but the more unique thing to it is that the longer the kill streak you do happen to go on, you can be able to see that there's different multipliers for when you do go on those streaks. So you can still get your UAV at, let's say, 4 to 5 different kills. It's something you should be able to realize is that you definitely can actually still die and then eventually get your UAV. But the one thing is that if you get a 1 kill, die, 1 kill, die, you'll still slowly be working your way up to that UAV, but it'll take you significantly longer than if you were to go on a kill streak. So let's say if you kind of bring this back to a little bit of like World War II where there's Requisitions, this is almost like a half nerfed version of Requisitions. Like, it's not quite Requisitions, but also isn't Requisitions. I don't really know if I'm making a lot of sense here, but essentially you can still get streaks even if you do happen to die, but it's just going to take you an astronomical amount of time to be able to get those streaks. And basically, large in part, I should actually say this, that, you know, if you're a really, really bad player, you basically don't expect to be getting a chopper gunner anytime within a regular match. Like, you basically have to be playing an endurance domination match that would go well above 200 points in order to be able to get something like top streak like a chopper gunner. So don't worry, it's not going to be like World War War II with Requisitions, your people aren't going to be getting free streaks on you, and I guess, you know, maybe if you were one of those people that enjoyed that, then I'm sorry, this isn't going to be that type of game for you. We didn't really get to see much on the score streak category. There really wasn't too much going on there. Basically, what they were allowed to give, there's only like 4 or 5 different things. I do believe at max maybe 6. I'm not really sure if they were allowed to show it too much, but a lot of content creators didn't happen to go through it, and I myself wasn't playing, of course, so I couldn't just go through and tell you guys everything. But also something that we are speculating is that there's not going to be an advanced UAV / Blackbird or SR-71. That is, you know, your advanced UAV like you can get in Warzone when you call in 3 UAVs in a row back to back to back, and you'll be able to see all the red triangles on the map, aka the Doritos. I don't think that's actually going to be the game, so that's either a good thing or a bad thing, but we actually have to wait, see, and find out, because obviously they had a very, you know, small selection of streaks to be able to use, and there could be more stuff getting added in. Obviously, well, there is going to be more stuff getting added in before the official release of the game, and then of course that they could potentially add stuff in later on down the line, like how Infinity War did for Infinite Warfare. Also, something that was actually very interesting was the field upgrades, and they actually kind of put a couple of different things in there. Like, I know there's proximity mines, there's SAM turrets, there's motion sensors. I saw a Scump using a motion sensor. I know some people are running the SAM turrets, and I do want to point out though that a lot of people were like, oh my god, if people are just getting SAM turrets, which back in Call of Duty Black Ops was like a 4 to 5 kill streak, if people are just getting those at random, you know, on willy-nilly, they don't really have to do anything to earn it, that, you know, basically they're really just gonna be super overpowered, and they're more or less just gonna end up, you know, taking out everybody's streaks that are actually earning them, and it's just not gonna be any fun whatsoever. And I will say that the cooldown timer on these things is 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so basically out of a 10-minute match, somebody could expect to get maybe, you know, 2.5 of those type of, you know, streaks, 3. I mean, you're really not going to be getting too many of those things, and what I've been told is that they are super weak, so they're not going to be taking out your spy planes, your chopper gunners, you know, your attack helicopters, whatever is actually going to be in the game with relative ease, and they're also basically like 2 to 3 bullets on the ground. They really don't take any damage at all, so we really shouldn't have to worry about too much of that. And the motion sensor was actually pretty cool, and then also I think like the proximity mine or like a bouncing Betty or something like that is also an upgrade, though I don't know exactly the timers for those. They really shouldn't be too overpowered. It's not like a specialist weapon, which I'm, you know, definitely very happy to see. So now let's actually move on to the weapons, some of the fan favorite type of weapons. I do believe there's going to be a bunch of them coming back that are going to be familiar to a lot of people. There's, I noticed there was the MP5, there's the AK-74U, there's the XM4, there's just a whole ton of different weapons. Well, basically the XM4 is like the commando. It looked like the commando. There's, you know, the M16. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is coming back from, you know, the Black Ops 1 type of era, you know, going to the Cold War era. I mean, a lot of guns that we're going to recognize, and I will say that I do believe the AK-74U right now is technically what people were classifying as the best gun in the game, so we're going to have to wait and see if that stays true all the way to the beta. I know they're actually playing on a more of an older build here, and this actually isn't the current build whatsoever. There's actually a much newer build that the content creators and everybody else did not have access to, so that's actually pretty interesting. Something I want to point out, unlike Modern Warfare, these snipers are not going to have aim assist. I should repeat that. No aim assist on snipers. This is essentially going to be like how it was in Black Ops 3, and I don't really think there was aim assist on, you know, snipers, and, you know, or no aim assist on snipers in any of their Call of Duty, but people still like sniping in Black Ops 3. It's still very, you know, easy to snipe in Black Ops 3. Took a little bit more skill, obviously, because there is, you know, no aim assist, but you can still definitely do it. I mean, I did plenty of sniping in that game. I thought it was actually pretty fun, but there's also, I don't believe, any glint on the snipers as a result of that, so you can technically almost camp a little bit more, but you have to be more precise, so it's kind of like a trade-off. No aim assist, no glint, and I guess would you rather have aim assist and glint, or no aim assist and no glint? It's just kind of one of those things, but for right now, there's no aim assist on snipers. But diving a little bit more here into the weapons, though, is that there is the ability to have 5 attachments on your guns, much like you can in Modern Warfare, but they've also introduced something that was actually, or I should say reintroduced something that was brought back from previous Call of Duties, such as Black Ops 2, aka the wild cards. I know back in Black Ops 4, when that actually came out, there was different sorts of cards you could throw in, like perk greeds, I do believe is what they're called. You know, don't crucify me for that if I'm actually wrong, but the wild cards are, you know, making a return to this game, and you're actually gonna be able to have 5 attachments on your gun, but if you run a different, like, type of perk greed card, where you actually throw on, you know, a wild card greed, you can actually run up to 8 attachments on your gun, which is absolutely crazy. I think that would be the highest number of attachments we could ever run. I remember way back in the day, back in like Black Ops 1, you know, Black Ops 2, where at maximum you'd run maybe 2, 3 attachments, but now everything's like 5 attachments, 6, 7, 8 attachments. It's absolutely nuts. So I'm looking forward to seeing how class setups actually end up looking, because 8 attachments is going to look pretty nutty. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the maps, as I'm sure you guys have been watching the gameplay and hearing me talk here, is that, you know, you can kind of almost understand that the maps themselves are more Treyarch style 3-lane maps. And I want to point out that there's not going to be any doors on this in this game in multiplayer at all. I remember seeing in the alpha gameplay that somebody had leaked that somebody tried to run into a door expecting to just, you know, burst through it like you do in Modern Warfare, but doors are not going to be a thing. There's not going to be doors. You can't camp like that. There's not going to be any mounting or leaning or any of that sort of shenanigans, to my knowledge. I don't think. But there's not going to be any doors, at least in multiplayer, and or I assume there's probably going to be still some doors in Warzone. I don't really know. I mean, I know they're probably going to nuke out Warzone, the entire map we got right now for Cold War, and then they're going to bring in the new one, because, you know, Warzone is a standalone thing, but it's just still going to evolve with the Call of Duty titles. So, I mean, I'm definitely hyped about that. I like more classic 3-lane style maps. I don't like all these little nooks and crannies and safe spaces and all this other BS shenanigans. I'm not really much of a fan of that. I like those simple maps where you can just really predict where people are going to spawn from, and it's just good. Trust me, if MW is your first COD, you definitely gonna like the maps that are more simplified, easier to navigate around, and less of, like, you know, there's 25 million different angles to get killed from. It's just, trust, it's good that way. Also, I should point out that the mini-map is back into the regular version of the mini-map, which I'm a big fan of, because, you know, you can see your red dots and stuff on the mini-map now. It's actually even bigger than what it was previously in Modern Warfare. It's even bigger than the square one or the circular one in Modern Warfare, so it's bigger, and it shows you the red dots. So we're going back to the classic style mini-map where you can actually tell where people are without needing it, like a UAV or something, based on if they don't have a silenced gun. So I'm looking forward to that big time. I love a classic mini map, and boy, am I happy to be able to see this. And last but definitely not least, I want to talk about the movement, as I was seeing some people, at least in my TikTok comments section and also in the comments, you know, other places, talk about, you know, how this game actually looks, and it looks like how it runs is that, you know, it doesn't look very, you know, military-esque or whatever. I think they're trying to compare this to Modern Warfare in terms of how more realistic Modern Warfare is. But I want to point this out, is that Treyarch is not necessarily into making very realistic type of, you know, feeling games. They want the games to feel fast-paced, arcadey. This isn't a military sim shooter, so we don't necessarily need to go more down that route. We're trying to have fast-paced, action-packed gameplay, and that's what keeps Call of Duty fun. That's what Call of Duty's always been based on, is an arcade first-person shooter, which isn't meant to be taken, you know, way too serious. And that's why Treyarch does stuff where they implement crazy, awesome looking, wacky camos. And that's why you've seen in Modern Warfare how there isn't very many crazy awesome camos. There just really isn't. Nothing can compare to some of the stuff they throw in a Treyarch game. But anyways, speaking about the movement, it's more or less a combination from what I would say is Black Ops 4 and World War II, because as you guys know or may not know, is that Sledgehammer was initially developing the Call of Duty for this year, but there was so much internal disagreement, I guess, falling out with the employees and stuff, that basically Activision came through and they said, hey, Treyarch, you're to go take over the entirety of this next Call of Duty. Even though you're technically making the Call of Duty the year after, you're gonna go through and take over this one as well. So, I think we're gonna get back-to-back years of Treyarch. I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work, but anyways, so we have like a hybrid of, you know, Black Ops 4 and World War II movement, because this was initially a Sledgehammer game, but it's no longer a Sledgehammer game. So there's still like some of those remnants there, and of how, you know, World War II would kind of feel, but there's also a lot of Black Ops 4 in there, because obviously it's Treyarch. So I'm very excited. I like the way this game looks. I like how colorful it is. I like the way, you know, the guns look. The gunplay looks fantastic. The health bars look great. There's 150 health. I mean, overall, I was initially very, very skeptical on this game, but I'm definitely very, very excited that I actually happened to hit that pre-order button right when I knew that it was able to come out. I mean, I think this is going to be a very good buy. I mean, Treyarch, I will tell you guys this right now, if you are newer to the Call of Duty franchise, Treyarch does not miss. They always make very, very fun titles. They always make very good games. I've been playing them since way, way back in the day, and Treyarch is the most consistent development studio of all time. They always churn out absolute bangers. So if I was you guys, I would highly suggest picking this game up, you know, checking it out, and at least playing the open beta before you really start, you know, criticizing it, diving in, saying all the negative stuff about it, because obviously we're only able to see gameplay. I'm only able to see gameplay, so what we experience here and what we see could be a little bit different than what we actually, you know, feel feel on the controller, the mouse, the keyboard. You guys get it. Just go through, you know, reserve your judgment, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but, you know, use the information that I'm giving you to help make your judgment. I think this is going to be a great year coming ahead of us for Warzone and for multiplayer, and I'm just overall very, very excited. With that being said, that's all I got for you guys here within today's video. Once again, thank you to my buddy Dismo for allowing me to use his Black Ops Cold War gameplay. If you have not already, go check him out. Links in the video description. And if you guys haven't already as well, drop a like on this thing, subscribe, those notifications turned on, and I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow with another brand new video. Just hope so, Cap. Don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.